I must say the Insta360 products have been growing on me recently. I started off with the Insta360 X2, which is a 360 camera, and I found that actually quite clumsy and quite difficult to use, and I actually didn't like it very much. But then my next investment in the Insta360 ecosystem was the Insta360 Go3, and that was a tiny white little shiny camera, and it was able to shoot in 2.7K. And recently this year I bought the Insta360 X4, and I'm really starting to like that camera. I'm starting to learn all the capabilities of a 360 camera and how to edit it using the Insta360 app and also the desktop app, and I'm actually really starting to like it. Today Insta360 announced the Insta360 Go3S. Now, I've made a previous video about the Insta360 Go3, which I bought in June of last year, so it's been exactly 1 year since the release of this little device. This is the Insta360 Go3, which is the original version. This is not the new one. This is the Insta360 with the 2.7K video, not the 4K. And that's what I wanted to talk about. When I got the Insta360 Go3, I loved everything about it. I loved the form factor. I loved the fact that it comes apart like this, and you can actually take this bit out, and you've got this tiny baby waterproof camera which you could take anywhere, and then you stick it onto this thing, and not only do you now get a screen, you also get improved battery life. And this was almost the perfect camera in a lot of ways. Unfortunately, I did drop it and there was a little bit of a dent here, but anyway, never mind. And I've also made videos as to how you can use an attachment and it becomes a camera that's capable of using GoPro accessories. And that was, in fact, a game changer for me, and I really love this camera. But the only thing that I didn't like so much about this camera, and still to this day, was something that I wish would have happened, was that this camera only shot in 2.7K and was not capable of 4K. Now, in 2023, it drives me nuts. How is it possible that a company can make a camera of this sort, an action camera, that was not capable of shooting in 4K? GoPro can do it, Insta360 have other cameras that can do it, DJI have cameras that can do it. I just don't understand how 4K never made it into this thing, but it's all changed now. Insta360 Go3S is now capable of shooting in 4K. It costs $720 retail. All the existing accessories that you have for the old Insta360 Go3 is obviously compatible because it's the same form factor. And with this little groovy attachment here, you can now also use it with all the GoPro accessories, including suction cup mounts and selfie sticks and all that kind of stuff, which you all know about, and that's not the subject of this video. What I really wanted to talk about in this video is the fact that I feel a little bit ripped off. I haven't looked into the specifics of the Insta360 Go3S, but I'm pretty sure it looks exactly the same. And I know it's been a year later, but I really feel that 4K should have been on the original camera in the first place. That was the only thing I didn't like about it. And in that sense, I feel a little bit ripped off. Like, I knew that 4K was going to come, but it's kind of like a slap in your face of all the original owners. The fact that you can make an exactly the same looking camera, probably with the exactly same capabilities, but having teased them with a 2.7K camera, and now you come out with a 4K camera, which should have been in the original camera in the first place. I can understand it if it's a completely different design, a completely different model, and that's okay. But the fact that the form factor is exactly the same, why didn't they put 4K into this camera? This is the thing I hate about technology, not just with Insta360, but with everything. When you know that there's something coming up, why can't you do it now? Why do you have to wait a year for the new processor when you know that you're going to come up with the next processor in a year? Why can't you just come up with it now? But anyway, that's just a rant. So I've just checked on the phone, and it says the Go3S is compatible with a Go3 action pod. So basically you can just get that as a 4K camera, and you can use your existing one of these, which unfortunately, as I said, has a dent in it from last time. And I'm just going to check out how much it costs. So if you just buy this as a standalone camera, a Go3S, without anything, it's $429.99 for the 64 gigabyte, and it's $480 for the 128. So basically what they're trying to tell you is this is all the same, this is new, and we've decided that we're going to use the same form factor, so nothing has changed, but we're going to add more resolution to the camera. So it's gone from 2.7K to 4K. Why didn't you make this in the first place, Insta360? Like I said, it feels like it's a slap in the face of all the people who've been loyal to you, who've bought your cameras, when you know that this camera would have been better as 4K rather than 2.7. Like, don't get me wrong, this is a really cool camera in the fact that without this, this is waterproof, it is tiny, it's magnetic, so it sticks to everything, and it is actually a really good camera. And when you add this on, you get the LCD screen, you get the improved battery life, and you get the ability to mount it to GoPro accessories and all this kind of stuff. And this made it a almost perfect camera for most people. The only shortcomings that I actually thought about when I got this camera was the lack of 4K and the lack of an external memory. So you either get 64 or 128 gigabytes. There is no ability to expand the storage, but if you're able to somehow access like a tablet or a computer, that's not usually going to be an issue anyway. The fact that you can charge this via USB-C, perfect. The fact that it's small, it's perfect. This is a great camera. I just wish Insta360 made this 4K to start with and not having to make people like us to have to pay another 450 bucks. I'm starting to really like the Insta360 products. I really am enjoying using the Insta360 X4, and I'm learning so much about 360 cameras. I'm learning so much about editing 360 footage. Like, I'm by no means an expert in that, but every time I take this camera out, every time I use it, every time I bring it home, I look at the footage, and the fact that it shoots in 8K, you can do so much editing and you can get so much resolution, you can zoom in on stuff, which is kind of important for a 360 camera because you're going to use a lot of the cropped images because you don't always want the super wide angle of the 360. But this camera in 4K, if that was the original, I would have been all over it. Am I going to spend another 500 bucks on an updated camera just because mainly it's the spec of the camera and resolution? I don't know. If Insta360, if you guys want to send me, I'm happy with a standalone camera. I don't need another one of these, but if you want to send me out that's cool too. But if you want to do that, I'm more than happy to give it a try and report back to you guys. But I just feel like it's kind of almost an insult that you're going to release a sort of an inferior product and within a year you're going to come out with exactly what you should have come out in the first place. I have no doubt that the Insta360 Go3S is going to be an awesome camera, assuming that everything else is the same, even if they haven't improved on any of the other functionality, even if they haven't improved any of the software or the capabilities. The fact that it shoots 4K, I think it would be an ideal camera for many people. So rant over. If you haven't got one of these and if you're thinking about getting an action camera with the capabilities that this is able to do, I would definitely go out and get the 4K version of this camera because you get much better resolution, you get all the super functionality of this camera, you get the fact that you can detach it and have a super small magnetized camera, and then you can put it on this and have an LCD screen and attach it to all the GoPro accessories. I keep saying this. The fact that you can attach these cameras to GoPro accessories, for which there's many more than the Insta360, is a game changer. So I highly recommend that if you don't own one of these, go out and buy your Go3S and you'll be happy as Larry. But if you have one of these, and if you don't feel like you've been victimized, if you don't feel like you've been taken advantage of because they sold you a 2.7K camera a year ago and now there's a 4K, you should still go ahead and get one of these because I think that the bump up in camera resolution will be very, very useful. Rant over. I'll catch you next time in another video. Have a great day. See you later.